Hello and welcome to Heck Knows. I'm your host Heck and I Know, and in this video I'm going to be ranking and breaking down my 10 most anticipated movies of the rest of the year. This is part 2, by the way. I've already gone through numbers 23 through 11 on my list in another video, so go check that out if you missed it. Here's the link to that. But now we're getting to the juicy ones, and I'm really excited to talk about these movies, so let's just jump right in. To start things off, my number 10 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. As I mentioned in part 1, James Gunn is having himself one heck of a year and has switched from Marvel director to co-CEO of DC Studios. I went over that whole situation in my Flash video, so go check that out if you're curious, but what it means is that this will be his final Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So we should see an emotional and grand send-off to a few of these characters that Gunn helped make so popular. Dave Bautista, aka Drax, has said that this will be his last time playing the character, which could mean a variety of things, including Drax being written off or even dying in this movie, or more realistically being recast in future Marvel films. Either way, his and Gunn's departure from this franchise gives this film, a certain weight and urgency that has been severely lacking from recent entries in the MCU canon, so I'm genuinely excited for this movie, which is more than I can say for The Marvels, which is the other Marvel movie being released later this year in November. Anyway, there are still some interesting loose ends to tie up in this Guardians franchise, such as the question of whether Quill and Gamora 2.0 will be able to find that spark again, who the heck this Adam Warlock guy is that they teased at the end of Guardians Volume 2, and is that an otter? Well, we don't have to wait too long to find out. Guardians Volume 3 hits theaters this May. Taika Waititi is a hot ticket item right now. He's got multiple massive projects on the go, including a live-action adaptation of Akira, his own Star Wars and Flash Gordon movie, a What We Do in the Shadows spin-off called Werewolves, a series for Apple TV called Time Bandits, and a film adaptation of a graphic novel called The Incal. Now, will all those projects actually happen? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen someone with so many upcoming projects listed on their IMDb page. And in addition to all of that, he's also got this little movie coming out this year called Next Goal Wins, which I have at number 9 on my list. The movie stars Michael Fassbender, who has sort of been on hiatus for a while, more on him later though, and he plays a Dutch soccer coach who was hired to help the notoriously bad Samoan national team. This is based off a true story. That Samoan national team actually lost 31-0 to Australia in a qualifying match for the 2002 World Cup. And I'm excited for this movie because I think this underdog story is really well suited to Taika's brand of humor. As much as I love Thor Ragnarok, I'm excited to see Taika Waititi take a break from the superhero genre after his disappointing Thor sequel and go back to a more simple and stripped down production like he was doing early on in his career with hits like What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Next Goal Wins is currently scheduled to release in theaters this September. Moving on to number 8, I have Christopher Nolan's latest, Oppenheimer. Nolan has cemented himself as a director that makes movies that are must-see in a movie theater events for me. Even his less successful films like Tenet are still so ambitious and cinematically impressive that I just have to experience them on the big screen. Oppenheimer appears to have that cinematic quality and features an absolutely stacked cast led by the fantastic Cillian Murphy, who plays Robert Oppenheimer, who of course was involved in a monumental moment in human history, the creation of the atomic bomb. Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Gary Oldman, Rami Malek, and more join Murphy in what is sure to be an absolute spectacle of a movie. Say what you will about Tom Cruise, but the guy knows his action cinema, and the Mission Impossible movies are some of the most consistently entertaining of the genre, which is why I have Dead Reckoning Part 1 coming in hot at number 7. Top Gun was one of the best and most popular movies of 2022 and even got nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, so Tom Cruise fans have been eating pretty well lately. And they may even be able to get over that sour taste that The Mummy left in their mouths back in 2017. The Dark Universe, anyone remember that? When Universal Studios was hoping that The Mummy would kick off this Avengers-style monster movie universe for them and had lined up multiple projects including a Frankenstein movie with Javier Bardem and an Invisible Man movie with Johnny Depp, but then The Mummy bombed so hard they kind of just scrapped everything. Pretty incredible stuff, but it did work out though because we did end up getting the incredible 2020 Invisible Man movie and a more focused Tom Cruise, and I for one am happy to sit back and watch Tom do what he does best when this movie drops in July. At number 6, I have Beau is Afraid. Formerly titled Disappointment Boulevard, which I actually think is a cooler title, this is the new nightmare comedy movie from rising star horror filmmaker Ari Aster. Aster's first two films, Hereditary, and Midsommar are two of the most frightening and uncomfortable yet completely mesmerizing movie experiences I've ever had, so I'm hoping he can go 3 for 3, and judging from the bonkers first trailer, I think it's going to be one heck of a wild ride. This trailer kind of gives me Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but on a scary acid trip sort of vibe. Very intriguing stuff. This one comes out super soon actually, April 21st. Can't wait. Moving on to number 5, I have Killers of the Flower Moon. This long-awaited Martin Scorsese film starring Leonardo DiCaprio is finally coming out this year. It was just announced that it'll be released in October, so hopefully we'll get a trailer soon, but in the meantime, all we can really talk about is the plot, which is based off true events and deals with the so-called mysterious circumstances around the death of numerous Osage Nation Native Americans in the 1920s when oil was found on their lands. Those mysterious circumstances, of course, being murder. Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Tantoo Cardinal, and recent Best Actor winner Brendan Fraser also star. Wes Anderson fans are in for a treat this year because he actually has 2 movies being released. One is an adaptation of Roald Dahl's The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, and the other, which I'll slot in at number 4 here, is Asteroid City. Set in the desert and featuring a plot that may or may not involve aliens, this movie looks colorful and quirky and all the things that make Wes Anderson movies great. We all know what to expect from Wes Anderson at this point, and if you enjoy his style, he always delivers, and you already know this cast is absolutely insane. Maybe one day Anderson will branch out and try something different, but I'm perfectly happy if he wants to continue making delightful and clever films until the end of time. We are smack dab in the middle of the multiverse era right now. Movies like Spider-Man No Way Home and recent Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once have shown how amazing this plot device can be when used effectively. It really opens the door for superhero movies, especially because it allows for the inclusion of more obscure characters and storylines, but that doesn't always mean it's going to feel fresh. We're already seeing diminishing returns on this idea with some of the recent Marvel movies that have received more mixed reviews, and there are plenty more superhero movies coming out in the near future that will use alternate realities or timelines in similar ways, so buckle in for that. But if there's one movie that can make this whole multiversal phenomenon feel exciting again, it's my number 4 film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is of course the sequel to 2018's Into the Spider-Verse, and these movies are able to push the idea of the multiverse to its limit because of the animation style. The first Spider-Verse film was a perfect harmony of sights and sounds. The soundtrack was incredible, the voice acting was great, but the key thing was that the visuals and the character designs were just next level. Prowler was so cool, the Doc Ock gender swap was unexpected and fantastic, the sheer mass and brutality of Kingpin was perfect, it was all just so well done. And this is why I'm looking forward to the new movie so much, because there is so much more source material to draw inspiration from and so many cool variations of Spider-Man to choose from. For example, Oscar Isaac joins the voice cast in this new film as one of the coolest Spider-Man designs of all time, Spider-Man 2099. Can't wait to see that character in action. Across the Spider-Verse should be a treat for the Spidey senses and hits theaters June 2nd. David Fincher is one of the GOATs when it comes to crime and grime. Seven, Zodiac, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, these are some of my favorite films ever, so the fact that he has a new crime thriller coming out this year is enough for me to put it at number 2 on my list, and will hopefully ease the pain I'm still feeling about the loss of my beloved Mindhunter. The new movie is called The Killer, and it stars Michael Fassbender, who, as I mentioned earlier, has kind of been on a hiatus for a few years and is poised for a big comeback. Fassbender took some time off acting after starring in some pretty awful films. These are the movies he's done since 2016. X-Men Dark Phoenix, which was atrocious, The Snowman, which was a stinker, Assassin's Creed, which was a dud, and Alien Covenant, which was decent, but only because he played 2 roles in it. Don't feel too sorry for him though, he's been driving race cars and building a family with wife and fellow actor Alicia Vikander, so he's doing just fine for himself, but I'm really looking forward to him being in great movies again because I think he really is one of the best actors out there. He plays a cold-blooded assassin in this upcoming Fincher movie, which is based off a graphic novel, but that's all I really know about it right now. It's scheduled for a November release date along with my number 1 movie. It's Dune Part 2, baby. If you're like me and this is one of the few books that you've actually read, then you know it's about to get crazy up in this desert. French-Canadian director Denis Villeneuve has an astonishing track record and is making the case for the most consistent filmmaker out there, releasing banger after banger after banger, and I thought he did such a fantastic job adapting Dune into a movie. Like, some of these scenes were exactly how I imagined them in my mind as I was reading it, and now that he's done the heavy lifting as far as building the world goes and setting up the story, I'm hoping that part 2 will allow for less exposition and more action. Zesty Spice Lord Christopher Walken joins the cast as the Emperor, who I never would have guessed, but I think will do such a good job at being a pompous menace and ruler of the galaxy. And he is joined by Florence Pugh, who plays his princess daughter in the film, as well as Austin Butler, who plays the shifty nephew of the evil Baron Harkonnen. We're also getting a new spin-off series on HBO Max about the origins of the Bene Gesserit called Dune: The Sisterhood, so get ready for Dune to be part of pop culture for years to come. Alright, so that's my top 10. So many movies to look forward to, and I hope they live up to the hype. Let me know below which movies you're most looking forward to, and go check out my Instagram or TikTok at heck.knows for more movie-related content. And finally, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. It might be a while until I put out another YouTube video. They do take a ton of time to put together, and as much fun as they are to make, I need to focus on some other things for a bit. So I just want to say thanks again for all those who have been watching and supporting the content. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks again. See you later.